With the Stanley Cup final right around the corner, I think it's time I finally start to really get into this draft content and really kind of hammer down what I want to see the Jets do this year's draft. Because I think this year's draft is a really, really important one. Not because we need to pick a prospect that's going to help us down the road, but because we need to pick a prospect who is going to be really good. I think what the Jets need to do, I guess the best way to put it, is pick the prospect best available for NHL ready, who's going to contribute the most to the lineup, and then go out in free agency and build the rest of the team that you need. Don't look to build the long road with the Jets right now. The Jets need to win and compete and build to be a competitive team again. So that's kind of where I stand with it. And with that being said, let's talk about who I think would be a very good fit on the Winnipeg Jets. Center Seth Jarvis. Now, if you don't know who Seth Jarvis is, he plays on the Portland Winterhawks, and he's had some pretty good years in the WHL. In his first year in the WHL, he only played 11 games and got 2 points, which were 2 assists. Whatever, rookie, doesn't really make that much of a difference. But when you get into his next year, in 61 games, he put up 16 goals, 23 assists for 39 points. A pretty solid year for a sophomore player. When you get into his third year in the WHL with the Portland Winterhawks in 2019-2020, it gets pretty interesting. In 58 games, he had 42 goals, 56 points for 98 points. So overall, if the shutdown didn't happen due to COVID, Seth Jarvis would have had over 100-point season, most likely. That's pretty good for a guy who is just coming off of 39 points. Now, does that just mean because obviously the WHL is an easier league to score in? We've seen that in the past. We've seen that with players like Nick Petan, who've amassed large amounts of points, especially in the WHL and on Portland, ironically, and then not working out as much in the NHL. Is that due to size? Who knows? But again, Seth Jarvis does have a lot of similarities, in my opinion, to Nick Petan, and that's kind of why I like him. Even though Nick Petan didn't work out for the Jets, I still believe that Nick Petan, if given the proper playing time and developed properly, would have been a good member of the Winnipeg Jets, but that's for another discussion. But getting into why I think Seth Jarvis would be a good fit, it's mostly due to the fact that although he is a center, he can play the wing, and also he's got a very good shot. The Winnipeg Jets need to kind of get this youthfulness and just inject it into their lineup, because if you look at the way that they're, kind of structured right now, the Jets are kind of in a weird situation. Blake Wheeler is up there in his age in a massive contract, and he's still playing decent hockey, but how long is he going to be able to keep that up for? Is he going to be worth $8 million in a couple years? Probably not. So, with that being said, we need to go out and find more youth that's going to be affordable while guys like that start to fall off. If we can't move Brian Little, we have to eat some of his contract, put him on LTR, buy him out, whatever that is. We're going to have to buy him out some way if he chooses to retire, or if somehow we can find a way to trade him. And even if we trade him, we have to eat cap. So that's why it's really good for the Jets to go out and look to find a guy that can be contributing to them for the next 3 years on an entry-level deal. And I think Seth Jarvis could be a guy that could fit really well with Winnipeg. He does remind me a little bit of Connor Zary's game, but not as much of a two-way guy, because he is more of a pure-bred goal scorer. But overall, he is undersized, but I still don't think that matters. When you go and look at who his NHL comparisons are, he's been compared to guys like Braden Point and Tyler Johnson, which is two pretty good guys I would like to have on the Winnipeg Jets if you asked me. So overall, yes, Seth Jarvis, I think, could be a good fit on the Jets, but I think what really makes him kind of the interesting kind of like, would he be a good fit, would he not be a good fit, is kind of what I said at the start of this video. In my pros and cons list for Seth Jarvis, for the pros I have, he's a really fast, great skater. He's a natural-born goal scorer. He can pass well. He's got good vision. He can skate through really trafficked areas in the ice. He's got good possession of the neutral zone while he has puck possession, which is really important. You want to have a center who's confident in the neutral zone, who can make passes, and not just dump and chase and, be in a situation where they don't feel confident to get that puck into the offensive zone. And Seth Jarvis has all that offensive ability. 100%. It's all there, especially if you watch his highlights and his gameplay and his entries, especially on the power play. He's very good at doing that, and that's what the Jets need. The Jets need a good puck-moving center to help benefit the wingers that they have in Line 8 Ehlers and even Connor to an extent, That's what the Jets really need to do. They need to get those guys accelerated to the next level by bringing in a really good puck-moving center, kind of like Scheifele, but have them in that top six. A really good puck-moving top six is what the Jets really need, in my opinion. The only problem with Seth Jarvis is that, in my opinion, I don't think he's NHL ready, and that's a big problem, because the Jets need to, in my opinion, go out and get a guy who is the closest to being able to help them as quickly as possible. Now, Seth Jarvis is a good overall player, and he can play the wing, and he does play the wing. So could that work out for the Jets in that sense? I think so. But the fact that he is very small, and the fact that he's only 5'10", 5'10", exactly, and That's really small, pretty small when you think about him. He's not a big hitter, which is something that, you need to kind of learn in the NHL to at least be able to hit. And if we're going to rush him into the NHL, he's not going to get that experience. So he would need, in my opinion, at least a good year in the AHL to get used to that high level of intensity hockey. And because of that, I just don't know if Winnipeg picks him. Even though I would love to see Seth Jarvis, and I personally would be okay even with a year in development, even though I'd want to see him, and I know that's a little hypocritical, but Seth Jarvis is one of those guys I think that is just kind of a 50-50 guy that the Jets could take. Because there is a really, really good chance that they could take him. He is a Winnipeg boy after all as well. And that's crazy. And I think that there are a lot of ways this pick would make a lot of sense for the Jets. But at the same time, because of the fact that I think he is too small, he's not a big hitter, and he doesn't have that size to be an NHL, center, I think, right now. And I think because of that, I think that would kind of, maybe make the Jets not pick him compared to a guy like Antoine Lundell. I do think Antoine Lundell is NHL ready. I think that maybe he would be a better, not as offensively gifted, but I think that he would be able to move the puck better than a guy like Seth Jarvis, just because at least Antoine Lundell has more weight and more size on a guy like Seth Jarvis. So it's kind of a weird, spot to put Seth Jarvis in for the Jets, and because I see a lot of Jets fans talking about him. He's a player that, a lot of teams would want to go out because there is a lot of potential. 42 goals is a lot of goals, especially for the fact that he had 98 points in a shortened season. How many could he have gotten? But again, what comes down to the issue is that he is not, in my opinion, NHL ready due to his size and his physicality. I think he would get killed in the NHL playing a top six center position, and that's what the Jets need, right? The Jets aren't going to use Seth Jarvis as their fourth line center or their third line center because they want to have depth and competitive players who play physical and they can go out and do that, because they don't have that now. We saw that in the playoffs, right? So I don't know if Seth Jarvis gets that pick, but at the same time, maybe Kevin Cheveldayoff realizes what he's done in the past, that a pick like this is something that could be beneficial for the future, because just to have it in the minors, it could be a wild card, because he could be good in his rookie year. We have no idea, right? But what it comes down to is that when you look at Seth Jarvis and his overall, game, I don't think it translates well to the NHL to start in a rookie season. I think he would need at least a year in the A to develop that physicality, to maybe get used to that type of speed that this game has, because the WHL is a lot smaller. Well, first off, they're younger kids, so they're all smaller. But I watch the WHL a lot, and overall, it's not the best league to evaluate talent compared to NHL-ready players. And I know that sounds bad because I'm saying it, maybe you're thinking I'm saying it's a bad league. I'm not. I'm just saying that the WHL compared to leagues even like the QMHL or anything like that, I think that those leagues have more physicality compared to what the WHL has and how much they actually hit. There's a lot of fighting in junior hockey, yeah, sure, but I just don't see Seth Jarvis being this impactful guy for the top six immediately for the Winnipeg Jets. And because of that, I don't know if they take him, because they're going to have to sign somebody in free agency if they don't pick a center to help boost them in the next season. That's a rookie. So if they, what are you going to do with Seth Jarvis? You're going to sign a guy for 4 years, have Seth Jarvis just play, mediocre minutes, kind of waste him like Jack Roslovic, not really know where his spot is in the future, and then what happens? He's unhappy or whatever. I just don't know if the Jets do that because of it. Compared to other guys that they could even take, another example is Jack Quinn even, right? I'm going to talk about him in another video very soon, but could the Jets take a guy like Jack Quinn even though he's a winger? Would he fit the mold? Would it be better to go out? There's lots of potential with the Jets, and I'm going to be talking about a lot about that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think Seth Jarvis would be a good fit for the Winnipeg Jets? I think that he is a great player and has a lot of potential, but overall, I just don't know if his game would suit the Jets for a kind of cup contending season next year compared to a guy maybe like Antoine Lundell, who maybe won't have the offensive upside, but can at least push and maintain that pace of play and that physical pace of play that the NHL has. That's just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed the video, definitely consider dropping a subscription. We are on that road to 200 subscribers, and I would really just appreciate your support. Again, thank you so much for watching the video. I'm Pig City Hockey. Peace out, take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.